So I came across this concept a couple years ago, and I want to show you how you can implement it into your business. This is the 1 + 1 + 1 = 19 concept. It's going to help you increase your profits and think about business with how can we make a little bit more money, and that's just going to compound over time. My name is Alex with AC Flips. I'm a full-time 6-figure Amazon seller. In today's video, I'm going to break down a profit concept that you probably haven't thought of, and it might just help your business make more money. So let's jump into it. We have revenue for the business, we have operating expenses, we have cost of goods sold, and we have our profit. So this first 1% is going to be a 1% increase in the revenue. So for example, let's just assume that our business does 1 million in revenue every year, right? 1 million, so we got 1 million. What is a 1% increase there? We're just going to increase our revenue by 10,000. When you're doing $1 million, that 10,000 isn't all that big of an increase, right? 10,000 seems reasonable when we're already doing $1 million, right? $1 million is over 80-some thousand a month. Adding 10,000 throughout the entire year seems pretty reasonable, right? Okay, so if it's not so easy to understand how we can increase our revenue by 10,000, there's a couple different ways we can do that. We can buy more inventory, or we can buy faster moving products, stuff that sells faster so we can get more of that product that we purchased sold within the month. All right, let's move on to the operating expenses. So this next 1% is actually a decrease. So we want to see the operating expenses go down 10%. So let's just assume we have 300,000 in operating expenses. All right, so if our operating expenses are 300,000, a 1% decrease in that is just $3,000. So what are some ways we can decrease those operating expenses to reduce that by 3,000 each year? All right, so what are some ways that we can reduce our operating expenses by $3,000 a year? Seems like a lot, but it's really not if you nitpick the little things that could reduce those operating expenses. So we have some of the just typical expenses in an Amazon business are softwares, employees, prep centers, and if you're paying for some sort of warehouse or employees there, that'll add too. So softwares, can we reduce any software that we're not using, right? If you're paying for Tactical Arbitrage, you're paying $100 a month, and you're not using it, there's $1,200 right there. There's almost half the operating expense reduction that we need to hit that 1%. Employees, are there any employees that are really slacking and they're not providing enough value to the business? Prep centers, again, are you sending a ton of units to the prep center that are super cheap that if you just made one shipment a week, one shipment every couple weeks of all your really cheap items, will you save a bunch of money, right? My prep center is $1.50. And if I'm sending them items that are worth $10 in buy cost, I'm gonna lose out on over $1 in the prep fee versus how much I would pay in sales tax and then prepping it myself. Just an idea, you could save a bunch of money doing that if you're doing high volume and you have a bunch of these really cheap items that you're paying a ton of prep fee for. And then again, is there places where you can cut corners on warehouses or negotiate the rate if you're paying a monthly lease? Those are some ways that you can reduce your operating expenses, and that $3,000 might come easier than you think if you just look into ways you can actually save money. All right, so we're now into our last 1%, and that's gonna be another decrease, you guessed it, decrease in the cost of goods sold. So let's assume our cost of goods sold is $600K for the year. So a 1% decrease in that is gonna be $6,000. All right, so how can we reduce our cost of goods sold by $6,000 every year? There's a couple different ways that you could incorporate some reductions in that. You can use cash back, you can factor in the cash back savings, all that extra cash back you're gonna get into reduction in your cost of goods sold. You can try to look for more discounts, right? Reach out to customer service, message them when you're about to check out, say, is there any way I can get an extra 10%? Do you have any discounts that I am not seeing right now that I could apply to my order? And then buying in bulk. Some sites will actually give you discounts if you buy more than 10, more than 20 units. So take advantage of any opportunity you can to reduce your cost of goods sold without it affecting your revenue. So in that million in revenue, we take away our operating expenses, we take away our cost of goods sold. That's gonna leave us with $100,000 in profit for the entire year. So if we take into account all of these 1% changes in your business, we have $10,000 revenue increase, we have a $3,000 operating expense decrease, and we have a $6,000 cost of goods sold decrease. That's going to equate to a $19,000 increase in the profit of your business. So the whole point of this video was to show you that making little tweaks in your business can have a huge impact on the bottom line, right? If we can find ways to buy more inventory, if we can find ways to save money on the inventory, if we can find ways to reduce our software or prep some items ourselves, that's going to save us a lot of money. Any ways that you can increase your revenue by 10,000, decrease your operating costs by 3,000, or increase your cost of goods sold by 6,000 could potentially make your business another $19,000. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, leave some feedback down below or comment on your thoughts on this process. If you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.